November 10th, 2017.
This is Nerd Bourbon, episode 23. I am robot slave Seth Sturgill.
God damn it. And it's your boy, Hot Toddy Sturgill. Let's get into this shit. You're a bastard for that.
I'll get into that in a second. Before we started recording, you made note of the fact that I said, oh shit, in a somber tone, and asked me if it would affect my energy to record this podcast. Do you want to know the reason why I said that?
Yes, what happened?
It wasn't like a sad oh shit, it was like, oh shit, like I'm fucked oh shit. Because I got an email from Japan Crate. This episode, by the way, is not sponsored by Japan Crate. I wish it was. But I got an email from Japan Crate, and the headline was just simply, holiday Kit Kats are coming. And in it, the email reveals that December's Japan Crate will include a smattering of holiday Kit Kats, including a creme brulee Kit Kat, a vanilla ice cream Kit Kat, and oh shit.
Okay.
You're like, is this going to affect your energy? And I was like, yes. You're like, well, yeah, oh, like, sweet boy.
I was a little worried. I care about
like
you.
I just got a text that a family member died. No.
Yeah, it's like, oh, shit. The way you said it, I was like, some bad happened?
My waistline died.
That died a long time ago.
Yeah, that's some real shit. I introduced you to a YouTube channel that I have followed for a long time now. It's called Boston Dynamics. And what Boston Dynamics is, it is a group of roboticists, I guess, robot engineers or whatever, people that are building robots. And on their YouTube channel, they don't update very often, but their YouTube channel has a bunch of videos of like prototype robots that they've been working on that are just fucking terrifying. And it's just such an obvious glimpse into our inevitable demise.
I didn't like any of the videos you were showing me. The one that got me the most was the Atlas. I don't like that one. The
Atlas is the one that like walks like a human. It can open doors, and it has like correction if it tries to fall. But the kicker of all of these is one of the things that they do to sort of put the robots through their paces is they like fuck with them and like try to like they like kick them and try to knock them over and push them over and stuff. It's so clearly like when you're watching it, you're just like, oh my god, I was even telling you when we were watching the Atlas one, I was like, this is the very video that's going to play on every television screen in this fucking country when the robots are taking over, because he's sitting there. They're demonstrating the robot's ability to like focus on one task, because like they have a box on the floor that has like a QR code on it, and the robot's prime directive is to just pick the box up. And one of the scientists has like a hockey stick. And he's sitting there, and the robot will pick it up and like knock it out of his fucking hand. And then the robot will like kind of like take a few steps back and then like go back over and pick it up again and knock it out of his hand and boom, push him back. It's like, and then eventually they like take this huge like battering ram and knock the robot down. And like the Atlas like gets up in this terrifying way, like he like is face down on the floor, and you just hear the gears start to turn, just and you see the fucking like this fucking arms.
Terrible, dude.
His arms like propel themselves, like his arms go down and propel his body up, and just it's terrifying. It's incredible. I'll link to it in the description. You've got to check out some of these videos. It's fucking insane.
The other one that really got me was the Wildcat, because that one actually had me laughing, because like the way when it first started moving.
Yeah, the way that it sort of amps itself up. It's kind of hopping a little bit, and it's almost cute in a weird way. There was one, I think it was called the Spot Mini, where like it's like this little tiny like dog like robot, but they attached like an arm to its head, and they were showing how like the arm, like the sort of hand of the arm can stay still, just perfectly still and centered, while the rest of the body is moving around it. And it's just disturbing to look at. Like, it just looks weird. Like, and then like later on in the video, it's showing like he's like trying to hand this human a Diet Coke, because they're showing off like how he can like wash the dishes and like he can like put, you know, trash in the trash can and stuff like that. And then like he's trying to hand this human a Diet Coke, and like I guess the human like grabbed it the wrong way, and it like crushed the can, and like Coke is going everywhere, and it like slipped on the Coke. It's it's the stupidest shit. Like it's these videos are incredible. It's like one of my favorite YouTube channels, and it's like it's horrifying and hilarious, and it just really makes me run the gambit of robotic fear. Actually, the first time I stumbled across it, I had a nightmare. Did I tell you about this?
No, you didn't. But before you do that, the craziest thing about most of this is a lot of these videos are like 10 years old.
Yeah. One of the ones I was showing you is from like 2010.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, they had this technology like 10 years ago. But yeah, when I first stumbled across, because I have like a legitimate fear of like artificial intelligence.
Rightfully so.
It's fucking terrifying, dude. Like I'm just watching these Boston Dynamics videos, and I'm just like, oh, fuck this, dude. Like, burn all of this. Like, you guys are playing God right now.
Oh, dude, when we were watching the videos earlier before we started recording, I'm like, they need to shut this motherfucking place down.
they really do. But I had this weird nightmare, like, where I think I actually made a Facebook post about it afterwards, because like when I woke up, I was like, I just need to put this down. It was like this weird like cyberpunk like future where being a human was like outlawed, and like I was in this alleyway, like just huddled in this alleyway in the rain and everything, and all of a sudden you see like these like blue and red lights kind of peering down the alleyway, and I'm like, oh fuck, and I start running. And the weirdest shit about it was like the world is just like populated by these androids. Like they look human, but they're kind of like, their skin is kind of like plasticine and stuff like that. You can tell that they aren't human, but they look human.
Like the synths from like Fallout 4.
Sort of, yeah. But
like the old school synths, not like the...
Yeah, like they look like perfect, you know, like a little too clean, you know. And I'm sitting here and you just get this, you know, how dreams are kind of like little movies. Like you get this shot going down the alleyway with the lights behind him of this like android police officer, basically. And the entire time he's just smiling. Like he's just got this big static smile on his face. And as I'm running across the rooftops to like get away from him, he's like slowly like he got me eventually, and he's like breaking my arms and shit. Like he like tackles me because he's able to jump like and run faster than I can. He eventually tackles me on top of one of these roofs, and he breaks my arms and handcuffs me. And like I just remember the final sort of shot of the dream was like all of these android families on their balconies like watching the police officer like fucking murder me basically, and they all just have the same like static smile on their face.
That's creepy.
It was a really weird dream, but I had that dream the very day that I discovered the Boston Dynamics YouTube channel. I have a legit fear of this shit.
No, rightfully so. I don't blame you on that.
Anyway, now that we've had like a 10-minute introduction to this podcast, what have you been up to this week, Todd?
I saw Thor Ragnarok, and
you enjoyed it.
So quick spoiler, non-spoiler, spoiler free. Basically, is it's a fun movie, easily the best Thor movie, and yeah, it's good. That's about it.
Well, I'm gonna see it soon. Probably in about a week or so I'll see it, and we may end up doing a shots after I see it. So
yeah, I'd love to talk about it actually in more depth, but I gotta wait till you see it.
I was gonna see it yesterday, but I had a really busy day yesterday, and I just couldn't fit it in. So yeah, next week I'll probably wind up seeing it. You know, it's a really good month for movies, dude. Like between Thor, I really want to see Murder on the Orient Express. I really would like to see Coco, and then Justice League, and then like in about a month we have Star Wars. So.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of really good movies coming out. So and you know it's funny because Shots has essentially turned into like, and we've actually had discussions about maybe should we make Shots like officially like a movie/TV discussion show, because that's essentially what it is already.
It's kind of what it is becoming.
So every time we see a movie that like we've both seen, we end up talking about it on Shots. So we have discussed potentially kind of classifying it as that, but anyway. You know, long story short, we will probably wind up doing a shots about Thor Ragnarok soon. What else have you been doing?
Well, I went ahead and actually beat Assassin's Creed Origins, and I'm like, shit, I think I'm only missing about like 5 trophies for the
Nice.
platinum.
Beautiful. Surprised you're platinuming that game.
Yeah, it honestly got to the point I'm like, I'm putting so much time into this game, I might as well try to platinum it.
Say
Because,
fuck
like,
it.
shit, I think I finally started playing through the story, like, at, like, close to 50 hours when I finally started playing the
That's
story.
hilarious to me.
Yeah.
That's so. I said this last week, but that is like so not how you normally play games.
Yeah,
So
I'm usually one of the dudes where I just rush through, get the story, like the main bits of the story, and that's it.
yeah, but something about this really has made you play like all of the side content.
Hey, it goes to show like they made a really good game.
Do you have any other thoughts about? I know we kind of went into it in detail last week. Do you have any other thoughts about Assassin's Creed Origins that you didn't sort of touch on last week?
Well, now that I've actually beaten the game and played it through a little more, there is like I was talking about like that escorting like where you gotta like kind of follow people.
Yeah.
That stuff is virtually not in the game. I think I had to do it once, and that was it. Like,
So
it's really not in the game.
Is it like the eavesdropping stuff that like they?
Yeah, the eavesdropping stuff is completely gone. That stuff
Nice.
does not even exist. I'm like, you kind of like, but overall, it's just like they kind of like with the time they took off. Like this game was like, the last one came out like a year ago, right?
Yeah, it was Syndicate in 2015.
They honestly, like the changes they've made to Assassin's Creed. Like, I'm actually looking forward to what's going to happen with the next game.
Yeah,
And
I think I just read today that Origins has already outsold Syndicate. Like
I'm not surprised
like its
by that, dude.
lifetime sales. Yeah,
yeah, because dude, Assassin's Creed Origins has been like honestly one of the most fun games I've played since Breath of the Wild.
it's good to hear. I mean, I'm looking forward to playing it.
And not kind of spoilers, not really spoilers. They're not forgetting the present day shit.
I think you just coined the term spoilish.
Spoilish. It's a
I
little.
like it.
They're not forgetting the present day stuff. The present day stuff is still a thing.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely intrigued. I'm looking forward to playing it some more. You just didn't they? Like, was this like the trial of Anubis or whatever? Did they just add that
Thank you.
today?
I actually just forgot about that. So yeah, they're doing this thing. It's like they're an event based thing. It's called Trials of the Gods. Trial of the Gods. I'm assuming. I don't know if we're just fighting Anubis
Or is there going to be like next week, like Horus or something? Yeah,
Sobek or something like that.
right.
That'd be really cool. But yeah, it's just like these like end game, like you're like level 40 like events where you basically fight a big ass god basically. It's like the way they're like doing it. It's like a glitch in the Animus or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm honestly a little disappointed in it because I legit just did it probably like 30 minutes ago.
Right.
Before we were recording. I did it in one try without even really giving a shit. Like, not even knowing what I was like in for. I thought it was going to be way harder. Honestly, I thought the dual elephants were harder than this.
Is it like so it's like an in-game event? Do you have to be connected online to do it or something, or?
You might have to be, honestly. You might have to be online.
So is it like you said it was an Animus glitch? So that's something where it's like you're connected online and there's like some weird like in-game events that they can just sort of like pop into the game world and populate if you're connected.
I think that's the way they're doing it, honestly.
That's actually pretty cool. I mean, if it's substantial stuff, and it sounded like you said that you got like some loot from it and stuff like that.
Yeah, I actually got honestly, it's probably going to be my new sword. It's called the Collector of Souls. It's got some good little abilities, and it also looks cool.
That's pretty neat. I mean, I think that's a really cool idea. That's a cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing like what else they're going to do with the Trials of the Gods, because I like the idea of it, but I'm just a little disappointed in the difficulty of it. I wished it was a little harder, because like I kind of just bullshitted it and I made it through.
It's the Dark Souls of Assassin's Creed events.
Honestly, this is the Dark Souls of Assassin's Creed. No, I hate myself for saying that.
No, but are they? Do you know if it's like timed? Like, is it going to go away?
Yes, it is. It is actually timed. When I jumped on, it's like it had like 6 days left.
Oh,
6 days and whatever. So it's like only. But the thing is, they're going to continuously do them, from what I understand. But the thing is, like, I don't like. I think I was just reading an article where they said there may be ways for you to like fight the gods that you've missed later on.
See, that would be good
But,
because I do plan on getting the game by the end of the month. I'm waiting on a good Black Friday sale.
yeah, so you're straight missing out on this one.
Because I'm just like, man, I don't want to miss out on, like, I want to fight Anubis, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I do plan on getting the season pass. Sounds cool because I do want to fight some fucking mummies.
Yeah, I need to actually go ahead and buy that, honestly.
Didn't you also this week so BlizzCon was this past week, and I'm not going to get into all of the news,
yes.
but they did announce a new hero for Overwatch, which is, we've said it before and I'll say it again. It's the game that you and I love the most but play the least. So like you and I have a very vested interest in Overwatch, and we both love Overwatch like until the day we die. But like we don't play it that much, but because of just like the toxic sort of community, and it's kind of hard unless you have like a team of like 3 or 4. It's kind of hard to do well, especially solo queuing sucks in that game.
No, dude, I can't solo queue in that game whatsoever. But yeah, they actually came out with a new character called Moira. Like, they announced Moira, and I actually was very surprised when I told you this. Is like, she was already on the PTR like yesterday.
That's super surprising. I was like, because I think I was even telling you, I was like, man, so they probably have the Christmas event coming up probably at the end of the month or at the beginning of next month. So I'm like, and they announced a new Overwatch map and all these new skins and stuff like that are going to be added to like the regular loot boxes. So I was assuming they were just going to kind of wrangle everything up together into like a big like January update, basically.
But no, I mean, like,
seems
Moira
like it's going to come
honestly
soon.
Moira might be out in like the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
But like I was telling you, Moira is interesting, man. She's definitely gonna, like, I think you said it, she's gonna have like this steep learning curve.
Yeah.
Because she is interesting. Like, so her whole deal is like she kind of like plays a little, like, she kind of like is similar to Zenyatta to a certain extent, but more or less, like, she has her primary abilities are really similar to, like, especially her damage dealing is like kind of like really similar to Symmetra. Like, you got to be like close enough and it'll like go to somebody. You know what I mean? Right. And the thing that is interesting about her to me is that her healing technically has like an ammo. It's like her biotic fuel or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And when you're healing, it just depletes. It does actually recharge, like, passively, but that shit's too slow. So you need to actually be aggressive with this character to a certain extent so you can actually heal your teammates, which I respect. I think, honestly, she's going to be a really interesting off-healer. I don't think she's going to be able to, like, solo heal.
Yeah,
but
it seems... I'm a little surprised that she even is put in the support tier at all. Because, like, she seems to occupy such a weird space of, like...
Yeah, she is in a really weird space. Like, she's like, almost, like, especially with her movement ability, she's almost like she's gonna legit, like, jump in, do some damage, pop out, heal, same you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be like a cycle.
She's a weird, like... She's a weird hybrid of, like... And, I haven't actually fucked with her. I don't have the game on PC, you do. So that's how you're able to mess with the PTR and stuff.
Yeah, on some real shit, I only jump on the PTR to check out these new characters beforehand. So, I don't really care about it otherwise.
What's weird about her, though, is that, like, she seems like she sort of occupies every role, but she doesn't do either of them exceptionally well. Like, she has the sort of speed and the ability to pop in and pop out that, like, an attack or defense character does. And then she obviously can heal, and she obviously does some damage. So it seems like she dabbles in a little bit of every class, except for maybe tank, I guess. But like,
she ain't no tank. She gonna get her ass.
How much health does she have? Do you know?
200.
200.
So
damn,
a standard
okay.
200.
So she's really, that's really low, actually. That might make her the lowest health of any support character, if I'm not mistaken.
You might be right.
Yeah, so that...
I think Zenyatta has 200.
Zenyatta has 250, I think.
Oh, damn. Did they up him?
Yeah, they upped him a few months ago.
I mean, shit, this is the reason she's in the PTR. They'll probably make some changes.
She should at least be 250, honestly.
I don't know, she might actually be 250. I might just be talking shit.
Yeah, well, whatever the case may be, that's a stupid tangent, but... I'm looking forward to fucking around with her. It's always nice whenever Overwatch introduces a new character.
Also, I'm going to shout out the Reinhardt video.
That's a good video. If you guys haven't watched that, all of the Overwatch shorts are great. Yeah.
I'm biased as fuck. That is my favorite one right now, though.
I think the May one is probably my favorite, but I enjoyed them all. There's not a bad one of the bunch, and the Reinhardt one's up there. It's really good. Yeah, no, I always like it when they add the new characters. It's always a good excuse to jump back on Overwatch and kind of mess around with the new character. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to messing around with her. I was telling you earlier, the only character out of all the new characters they've added, the only one that's really like resonated with me is Orisa. She's honestly one of my mains. Like, I love Orisa. I think Ana is a close second. I actually like Ana.
I actually like Ana as well. When I actually do play support, I usually go for Ana.
But like, I don't really care for Sombra. I Doomfist is okay. I don't know. I'm not over the moon for any of the new characters. Like, I'm ready, with the exception of Orisa. I'm kind of ready for a new character to just really wow me.
Yeah,
But
I feel that.
I'm looking forward to jumping back into Overwatch.
By the way, she's not as vulnerable as you think.
Okay.
Actually, you thought she wouldn't be able to move.
Oh,
she moves.
Oh, I know she can move. She can like teleport, right?
Well, no. When she's using her ult.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I think you were originally thinking that she was gonna, like, the moment she does that little energy wave, she was gonna have to stop moving. Now she can walk with it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that was when they showed the trailer. In the trailer, the way the trailer ends, it's a very basic Overwatch character trailer. They're just kind of showing off all of her moves and stuff like that. And at the end of it, they show off her ult, and it seems like she sort of shoots out this beam that it looked like she was both, the beam heals her allies and hurts.
Yeah, depending on what it hits.
Right.
Yeah.
And so depending on if it hits an ally, it's healing them. Hits an enemy, it's hurting them, which is appropriate. It seems like it's basically a stream that's like a mixture of the two things that she's shooting out. In the video, they're just standing still, and in fact, they show Pharah up in the air, doing her, her barrage or whatever, her rocket barrage. So I felt like they were kind of trying to show a corollary of like, okay, these two ults are like kind of similar. So, but she can actually move around while she does it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's actually going to be pretty powerful. About how long does it last?
Shit, it lasts a good couple seconds. It lasts, 5 seconds plus, maybe.
And it goes through walls and stuff, right?
It doesn't seem like it actually went through walls.
Okay. Interesting.
Like, when I was in the training grounds, PTR, it didn't look like it went through the walls or anything.
She's gonna be an interesting character. I'm looking forward to messing around with her. But shit, I think the other you picked up Call of Duty, right?
Oh yeah, Call of Duty World War II.
Give us some impressions on that. Give us some hot takes.
The main thing I'm going to say is I want to play that game, but the game itself doesn't want me to play it.
That's what I've heard.
I've been telling... Yeah, there's so many fucking server issues. It's like every time I try to jump on that game, it's like, oh, servers are down, or like error code 13, go fuck yourself.
That's so fucked up. That's inexcusable, dude.
It's not. It's completely inexcusable. And like I actually, when I'm playing the game, I have a lot of fun. It's like, it's very nostalgic, and you'll hear more about that with my topic later.
That tease, though. That tease, though. They call you Teasing Todd.
You called me that.
I'll call you that tonight. I'm just kidding. So you say it feels nostalgic. So like it feels. Do you get the vibes from like old World War II shooters when you play it?
Yeah, it feels like I'm playing like some old school stuff like that, and it even feels like I'm playing like more of an old school Call of Duty, and I respect that.
Okay. Well, do you get like vibes from Kadwa?
You know what? I didn't say this, but my friend Ronald actually said like he feels like he's playing an updated Call of Duty World at War.
That's high praise. I actually really like World at War. So I mean, that's high praise.
I like a lot of the changes. Like, might as well get into some of the changes because so I like the whole the divisions. There's airborne, mountain, armored, infantry, and it's the one that mainly, I forget the name of it, but it plays off shotguns more than anything.
Okay.
And so each of the divisions, what they do is they give a certain weapon type a special attachment that only those weapons can get. You don't have to use those weapons while using that division, but you might as well because you actually get a little bit of a bonus basically. So like with infantry, you get the bayonet for any of the assault rifles. You know, airborne is actually my go-to right now, and it gives me suppressors on submachine guns. That shit's love.
That's so. Does it not? It does the typical thing where like you don't show up on the mini map or whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
The typical thing, and the shotgun one gives you actually like incendiary shells. They're about as bullshit as they sound.
Incendiary shells, damn.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, dude, if you get shot and you don't die, you're still dying. Now, and then the armored division, I think that's the LMGs. They get a bipod for their LMGs. That's actually pretty legit if you think about it, because like they'll just sit there and just fucking make a turret from wherever the fuck they want. And then the mountain division actually doesn't give an attachment. It more or less gives you the ability to hold your breath. So you cannot hold your breath with a sniper rifle unless you're in the mountain division.
That's weird.
There is ways to, like, you can still use a sniper, but it's a little more of a pain in the ass.
So they don't.
You gotta sit there.
They don't even make it like a perk or anything like that.
Perks aren't really in the game, dude.
So perks aren't really in the game in favor of like, because if they were, they would sort of de-incentivize.
Yeah. So
the
whole deal is, in each divisions there are 4 unlocks. So in mountain, the one I know this for sure, mountain has the ability to be off the radar. I don't know. That's actually the only one I remember. There's 4 unlocks for each one.
Mm-hmm.
For each division, there are 4 unlocks. You level up 4 times. Boom. You can actually prestige it, and this is the deal. When you hit prestige, it's actually pretty interesting. That's when you can take the last unlock as a basic training while using another division. So like Mountain Prestige 1, you unlock the last ability, which is basically Dead Silence. I actually take that basic training into my airborne classes because I'm going to be real, I don't like hearing my footsteps.
Okay.
I don't like it. I never do. It annoys me, especially when I'm like using my turtle beaches. It's all up in my ears and shit. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's terrible. But yeah, a lot of the changes, like, I think are pretty good. I honestly don't see a point in the headquarters. I mean, it's a cool idea on paper, but
yeah, a lot of people have sort of said that like the headquarters is a like you just said, cool idea on paper, but that probably has something to do with the server issues that they're having, is trying to make the headquarters.
Honestly, dude, here's the deal. They wanted the headquarters to be such a social space, right? But here's the fucking deal. I'm in it by my damn self every fucking time I've been in there.
Yeah.
I've been in a populated headquarters maybe once.
Well,
since I've been playing,
and it has to be something like that because, like, as we were talking about earlier, like, there's no way. It's Call of Duty. It's the biggest fucking year after year after year. Like, as sure as the sun shines, Todd, Call of Duty is the most popular game that releases every year.
And has the sales of these games gone down over the years? Of course, but it's still number one.
It's still number one, though. It's still, you're talking about, these games sell anywhere between 10 and 15 million copies. I mean, it's nuts. Mm-hmm. And even the less popular ones, like I think Infinite Warfare last year saw a record low for the series.
I still haven't touched the campaign. I'm probably gonna play the campaign through probably tomorrow or something. But
yeah, I really, I have no interest in playing the multiplayer, but I probably will like red box it and play through the campaign. Yeah. I'm sure it's fine. Call of Duty's always got a decent campaign.
Yeah.
Unless we're talking about Call of Duty Ghosts.
Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that campaign. That is the most cliche-ass campaign of life. But yeah, overall though, I've been having a lot of fun with World War II. I just wish the game itself wanted me to play it.
Yeah, that's horse shit. I honestly can't believe like when you told me they were having like server issues, I was like, this is ridiculous. It's Call of Duty. Call of Duty is not, and it's sort of unprecedented for Call of Duty to even have server issues. Like, this isn't really a thing. This isn't really a problem that Call of Duty has. Like, when Call of Duty comes out, people will bitch about, oh, maybe the story's shit, or maybe this, or maybe that. But, like, being able to actually get online and play it reliably is never the problem with Call of Duty until now. That's crazy
I
to me.
think is this Sledgehammer's? I think this might be Sledgehammer's first solo game though.
It
And even
might be.
that's still not inexcusable, but I think that it might be a thing.
It might be. Maybe. Yeah. I think traditionally, I don't know if Sledgehammer took full responsibility over Advanced Warfare or not.
Yeah, it's been, I'm trying to remember. It's that shit gets confusing after a
Yeah,
while.
there's like 3 teams developing Call of Duty, so who the fuck knows? But I don't know. Like I said, I'm probably gonna redbox it, like that and Battlefront 2. I'm probably just gonna redbox those and play through their campaigns because I really don't care about their multiplayer offerings. But I'm always down for a good single player FPS.
Yep.
I'll just kind of briefly go through what I've been doing. So like I finished the main story of Super Mario Odyssey. I don't really have any more coherent thoughts than the jumbled mess I gave you guys last week. But yeah, I finished the story of Super Mario Odyssey. I'll say this: I don't want to spoil it. Like, for the love of God, don't spoil yourself about anything in Super Mario Odyssey because like the game is so full of like surprises and just like crazy shit up to and including the ending of the story. Like the story, the I can't even tell you. I think that the ending of Super Mario Odyssey, the last like 30 minutes or so, basically from like when you begin the ending sequence until the credits roll, are like the strongest ending of like any Nintendo game ever.
Okay.
It is so good. Like it, the game has made me like either choke up or like shed actual stupid tears, about 4 or 5 times now. And the ending was one of them because like the ending is it is at once like the ending is extremely fun to play. It is also like funny, like actually like laugh out loud funny in spots. It's really good. This is a really stupid sentence I'm about to say, but it's really good for the Mario lore because like, the premise of Super Mario Odyssey's sort of story is like Bowser's kidnapping Peach and he's like, "Fuck it, I'm actually going to force her to marry me." And so the ending sort of deals with, I'll say this, the ending resolves by the end of Super Mario Odyssey, you know how Peach feels about Mario and Bowser. Like the ending does not leave that love triangle like any questions you have about the Mario Peach Bowser sort of love triangle dynamic, those are all answered by the end of Super Mario Odyssey and it's great. I loved it. And it's so fun and like it plays on like your nostalgia as like a Nintendo fan, as a Mario fan, like it kind of brings back all these memories of like everything leading up to this point. It's just fucking perfect. And like then you get to the post game after the credits roll and like that is like overwhelming. Like the kingdom that is unlocked right after you beat the game. I'm not going to say any more than that, but it is just the wave of emotions that is like that you're experiencing every given moment in that kingdom is just out of this fucking world. Like this game is so goddamn good. And if you have a Switch, like Super Mario Odyssey really is, it's a requirement.
I feel like I can guess what they did, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, just don't spoil. Even if
Yeah, I'm not gonna-
I sort of had an inkling too, because I actually, it's funny. So there are paintings in the worlds. Like there are ways, like there are these paintings in worlds where you can get like to and from different worlds without actually boarding the Odyssey. You can sort of just
Yeah.
warp to the different worlds. I actually warped to the world that you unlock after beating the game on accident. And I think it's just because of the way I'm playing this game, like I'm looking under every nook and cranny. Like I don't think I was supposed to discover it that early because I unlocked it and I was just like, holy shit. And like my fiance was on the couch next to me on my phone when I did it, or on her phone, and I was trying to be quiet because she's on the phone. I'm trying to be polite, but I'm sitting here like crying like a fat idiot on the couch, just like she's on the phone, and I'm just like, like I was being like overwhelmed, And anyway, it's great. Like I said, if you have a Switch, Mario Odyssey is a requirement. It's a must play. I also wanted to talk about just really quickly, Steven Universe Save the Light. came out. I haven't played much of it, so I don't have too much to say, but this is a console Steven Universe RPG that was just released on PS4 and Xbox One and PC, I believe. And I think they're saying that maybe it's going to come to Switch eventually, but for now it's just on those consoles and PC. The thing that really kind of piqued my interest about this is the story was actually written by Rebecca Sugar, so the creator of the show. So I was like, okay, like my ears are perked up because I'm a huge Steven Universe fan, as we all know by this point. And it's really cool. Like a lot of people said that the game has like some really bad bugs and crashes. I'm probably 2 hours or so in. I haven't experienced any of that yet. What I have seen is that there is a little bit of like jank. Like it's not perfect. Like the game does like, it's one of those weird games, almost like Little Nightmares, where it's like trying to do the 3D on a 2D plane thing, you know? And it's kind of weird controlling these like 2D characters on a 3D plane. So the game takes like big inspiration from the Paper Mario games, but it just doesn't feel... One thing that I've never really appreciated about Paper Mario until now is Paper Mario has a way of like doing the same thing, but it feels really smooth just because of the way of the level design is. Like in Paper Mario, they don't clutter up their level design with a bunch of bullshit for you to get hung up on. Like a game like Steven Universe, which is doing the same thing just worse.
Okay.
I'm finding myself getting hung up on all this weird geometry, and I don't know if I can jump up to that or if I can't. And it's basically it's like a Kmart Paper Mario, which isn't a terrible thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a little $20 Steven Universe RPG, and it actually has a really interesting combat system. I love the art is gorgeous. The art style is just beautiful. It's perfect. Like you could not make a Steven Universe game that looks any more perfect than this one. And just from the UI to the like visually, the game is just flawless. And in terms of the bugs, I mean, your mileage may vary, but I haven't encountered any bugs yet. I mean, I might report back later or something like that, but I just wanted to give it a quick little shout out because I have been playing it. I did pick it up because I've been looking forward to it. And they introduce a new sort of villain, a new homeworld gem, which is interesting. So the game is sort of like introducing new lore elements for people who care about that sort of thing. If you're a Steven Universe fan, so if you're a Steven Universe fan, I think it's worth a look. I'm enjoying it so far. But that's really all I've been up to this week. I don't know if
we're forgetting something.
I didn't forget about it. I guess let's just quickly talk about it because we're already like 40 minutes into this fucking podcast.
I know.
Let's just really briefly talk about the hour or so that we spent in Fortnite today.
Well, let's just discuss the pure dumbassery of it.
So, when we first started, I'd never played Fortnite before. I think we talked about this an episode or two ago. Todd was talking about Fortnite Battle Royale. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll download it and try it out with you, and I'll see what all the hubbub is about, you know? So we jump in. There, first of all, is no tutorial to be fucking seen at all. And that...
Fuck the tutorial.
Well, here's the thing. Like, the game is not intuitive. Like, I had fun with it. It's not intuitive at all. Like... If I were to give somebody the controller and say, here, go, they wouldn't know the first fucking thing.
Oh, no, this shit's real bad. You gotta honestly kind of sit there and kind of, like, learn the game, like, for the first couple games.
If you go, and I actually streamed our gameplay of it, so if you go and watch on YouTube, you'll actually, the first, like, 5 or 10 minutes is Todd just basically teaching me how to play the game. Because, like, there's no tutorial. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the fuck? I understand the game is still in early access, but I couldn't believe that the game was as early access as it is. Like, I thought the game was going to be a little more polished than it is, I guess. I guess I had some preconceived notions about the game coming in.
That's a personal problem.
I guess. I guess so. It is what it is. I had a good time overall, but we eventually, we did a couple games, and you were actually saying that we were getting, like, extremely unlucky.
Oh, dude, like, 'cause every time that I've played that game with, like, Jacob and my other friend Ronald, bro, I would be able to get into a place where basically no one was there. We were alone. We were able to loot up and make our way to the center, basically. Dude, we were everywhere we fucking landed. There was, like, 4 or 5 motherfuckers.
Yeah. Yeah, we would land somewhere and just get slaughtered immediately. No time to gear up. But we just sort of leaned into that eventually. We were just kind of like, fuck it. Fuck it.
Fucking YOLO. YOLO.
Yeah. And we would just jump off of the fucking battle bus or whatever, and we would just dive into what we knew was going to be the most populated area.
Mm-hmm. At one point, my favorite part of this shit, I hope, yeah, I think you watched me do it, as I'm chasing this motherfucker through Loot Lake, just swinging my fucking pickaxe. Just, come here, bitch. Get the fuck over
We dove down into Loot Lake. We dove down into different parts of Loot Lake, and I managed to get my hands on like a gun, and you dove onto like sort of the main island, I think. And like I kind of dove onto this other island where nobody was. There's a chest there. I managed to get like an assault rifle out of there. And I made my way over to you, and by the time I got there, you were like getting killed by somebody else. I killed the person that you killed. Or no. I shot at the person that you killed. He ran off. I revived you. And as I was reviving you, he came back and revived his friend that you killed. Right? And so we're sitting there, and like I think I'm sitting there just wailing on the friend that he revived and ended up killing him. And then I just see your stupid ass like running slowly through the water after this other guy, just aimlessly swinging your pickaxe. But my favorite part was when we dove in. I think it was still by Loot Lake, those sort of warehouses by Loot Lake. And we dove in, and it was just like me, you, and like 5 or 6 other guys. Just like swinging our pickaxes like dumbasses. And like eventually somebody gets like a gun and just ends it all. Like it's just like, fuck it. Anyway, it's, I don't want to spend too much time talking about it because we only played for about an hour or so, but
it's a fun game. But I think the main thing I'm going to say about it is just playing this has put me in more of a mood to actually fuck with PUBG when it comes to PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I might mess with PUBG when it comes out because I do like the sort of conceit of it, but like Fortnite, when you were describing Fortnite to me and like the additional mechanics of like breaking stuff down and building stuff, like that sounded really appealing to me, but in practice, I feel like it isn't really viable, at least not in the Battle Royale mode. Maybe in the PvE it feels a little more natural, but I almost wish that stuff was like disabled in Battle Royale because it's not that useful. Like I like.
Oh, it is a little more useful when you could actually build walls to build walls around me when I'm down or when you're down, and then you can revive. You have a little more time to revive.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I like that. I like that stuff, but it also just like it seems like everything is a little too like messy. Like I feel like there's. Like, you gotta bring up sub-menus and stuff like that. And it's just,
there's a little too much going on, I feel
it's a little clunky and just unintuitive. I don't know. It's not bad or anything like that. But I do like... I almost wish that Battle Royale was just the... take out all the crafting stuff, but leave the pickaxe, like, leave the break anything sort of stuff. And I think I would like that more. Because otherwise I think it's just a little bit messy, and even like the main menu is just like clunky and like cluttered with shit.
You can tell this shit's early access.
Yeah, you can definitely tell it's early access, but it's not bad. I had a fine time with it, and it does make me want to play PUBG, which is essentially this but more polished and like more like I guess realistic. It does kind of make me want to try it out.
Yeah,
and like we were saying, Epic was fairly smart to get in ahead of PUBG. To kind of bring that to home consoles, to bring the sort of survival battle royale game genre to home consoles before PUBG gets in and just dominates it. So it was smart.
That's the main thing I've been saying since I've been playing it. I'm like, it's a smart fucking move.
Definitely is, and I'll it's something that I'll keep my eye on and mess around a little bit. Last week we had Paris Games Week. It was actually the only reason I want to talk about it at all. It's because it actually had some really major announcements. I brought it up on last week's episode, and we said we were planning on watching it together, but that didn't happen because Todd's a bitch.
Here's the deal. I'm a sleepy boy, all right? I'm in a very committed relationship with my bed, and it took me. I'm sorry.
But I just wanted to quickly, let's just kind of rapid fire go through some of the announcements. These aren't all of the announcements from Paris Games Week, but these are kind of the major ones. So we got the reveal of a kind of new PlayStation exclusive indie game called Concrete Genie. Did you see this?
I actually did not.
So this looks really cool. You play as this we saw kind of a trailer slash gameplay demo, and you play as this kid who like has this paintbrush, and he paints these like you yourself as the player has all these options to like kind of create your own monsters and paint them on the walls in the environment. And they help you like solve puzzles and stuff like that. And it's sort of, there's some like story implications that it's all taking place in the kid's head. They're like his imaginary friends, and I don't know. It has this kind of like puzzly kind of vibe to it, and it has like the art style is really like, it kind of has like a storybook kind of art style to it. I don't know. It looks cool. I was intrigued by it. I don't remember the other game the developer made. The developer made a prolific other game. I don't remember what it was. I'll have to research that. But yeah, Concrete Genie. It looks interesting. That was one that definitely sort of stood out to me. What's another one I have here on my list? They finally announced the Destiny 2 Curse of Osiris expansion. That's about all they did was announce it, because the trailer gave like no fucking information.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Like, the trailer was pretty weak.
That's something that I really hate, man. Like, I hate trailers that give like no information. Like, that
Talk about
bugs
that
me.
more with the other announcement.
Like, yeah, it just bugs me, man. They show Curse of Osiris. It's basically the opening cinematic, I'm sure, because it's like this really high quality, cinematic and stuff. And but that's really all it was. I was expecting to be like, oh, these are the new strikes, fucking 2 new strikes, new this, new that. We really got none of that. We just have to sort of put together.
Yeah, all it really
pieces.
was Osiris doing some warlocky shit, and that was about it.
That was about it. Just some warlocky shit. But Concrete Genie, by the way, I just looked this up while I was talking. They Pixel Opus is the name of the developer, and they made that game Entwined. That game that was on PS4 that they like stealth announced at E3 like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was like the one where like you're like a thread and shit.
Yeah, you play as, I think it's like 2 different like birds or something like that. And
oh, Entwined.
Yeah.
Okay, that one.
Yeah,
You know what? I actually played that.
I played it too. It was like free, I think. And I mean, I liked it fine. Anyway, so it's those guys are making like a new game, but Concrete Genie actually looks like legit. You should check out the trailer. We got new trailers for like Detroit, which looks dope. Still no release date. I couldn't believe there's no release date for this.
Something wrong.
I don't. It looks really, really good. Like every time they show Detroit, I'm really, really like down for it. I'm more down for Detroit than any other Quantic Dream game. I'm like, okay, this looks really cool. Like, I really love the sort of like story implications of Detroit. I really can't wait to try it. New trailer for Spider-Man, which continues to look cool. Again, no release date. It's still just 2018. And then like I think God of War got a trailer. Again, no release dates for any of these fucking games. Like, what's the deal? Like, at least one of these games has to come out before next E3. And I just feel like we are missing every opportunity to give dates for these games. And including like Days Gone was nowhere to be seen at Paris Games Week. And like I almost forgot that game even existed. Like, you guys got to put these games out.
Yeah.
They ended the show with a Last of Us 2 trailer, which was interesting. Did you watch this?
Yeah, I actually did watch the trailer.
So the big rumor is that the woman that it sort of focuses on, the woman that's hanging or whatever, is actually Ellie's mom. And that this is like a prequel kind of sequence. Like, it's not going to be like, the whole game isn't going to focus on it, but that is going to be like a flashback sequence where you're playing as Ellie's mom, Anna, who is sort of alluded to in the first game if you read like the letters and shit like that. And I think she's also mentioned in the American Dreams comic series. And so that's it. That's interesting. There's a lot of it was a weird trailer. It was fucked up. Like, it actually kind of like bothered me. Just on like a visceral level, like just the violence in it.
It was pretty yeah.
Like, I don't know, like I don't normally get squeamish or anything like that, but I was definitely like, oh fuck. Like I was like, damn, I was a little. And I think it actually kind of caught the ire of the internet for a brief moment there. I think people were trying to talk about the excessive violence in the Last of Us 2 trailer. And then they also talked about Sucker Punch's new game. I thought for sure this was like an E3 announcement. It's called Ghosts of Tsushima. How did you watch this trailer?
Yes, I did. And again, like they talked, it's the same issue that you had with like the Destiny update, the Destiny
Trailer
announcement. That they didn't really show shit, you know, like you really didn't know what the fuck the game was really about.
Yeah, you get.
For the most
it
part.
Seems like upon watching the trailer again, it seems like there's maybe like 2 snippets of gameplay, but from what Sucker Punch is saying, this is an open world stealth action game where you play as the last samurai of this island of Tsushima, which is overtaken, I think, by the Mongol army, and so you're sort of having to like defend the homeland type shit. And this samurai, from what I understand, has been like kind of like shunned from the rest of them. He's the last surviving one, and he actually abandons all of his sort of old ways or whatever, and picks and like kind of creates a new style, the way of the ghost. So it's sort of like a stealthy sort of style, and that's going to be kind of the crux of the gameplay. Is it's going to be sort of a stealth action game in an open world sort of feudal Japan. Which is
like, dude, I'm down for
I'm
that.
down for that too. Yeah, I'm down for that too. But like, you know, like I just wish the trailer showed us more. I mean, what the trailer did show us is that it has very high quality, you know, cutscenes and motion capture, and in a way that I think like Infamous Second Son, you know, that's a really really pretty game. But like, I definitely was like, oh man, like this is like next level. You know, like this is some Naughty Dog looking cutscenes. You know. So I was impressed with the trailer, but I just wish that they showed more, and I'm looking forward to seeing more. I don't know if I feel like this is going to be Sony's big fall game for next year. I don't know if it's going to be ready for that or not, but it's cool to see that Sucker Punch's new game is coming, and I'm so fucking glad. I'm so glad that it's not Infamous. Like, I love Infamous, but like it was definitely time for that series to kind of go away for a little while. You know, I'm happy to see that new IP is coming out of these first-party Sony studios, you know, because we got Horizon is sort of the big new IP, and now we have Ghost of Tsushima, which is presumably going to be Sucker Punch's new thing, you know, and Insomniac's doing their Spider-Man thing exclusively for Sony, and I'm sure that's going to do really well and become a series, you know, so it's good things are happening for PlayStation in a way that they aren't for Xbox, because Xbox just isn't making games right now. Although I did read today that Xbox said that now that the Xbox One X is out, they are focusing efforts on software. So I'm like, okay, thank you. Like,
congratulations, you're about like 3 years too late.
It is too late. It really is. But you know what? Nobody wants Xbox to succeed more than I do. I really do. Like, I really want them to do well. Anyway,
I mean, again, I was an Xbox guy up until PlayStation 4. So
I totally was. I mean, Xbox 360
well.
was definitely my console of choice last gen, and I love like Halo and Gears, and I love Xbox IP. So I hope they, you know, please like turn it around. You know, Guacamelee 2 was announced. This is a really cool announcement. It was. I really didn't expect it. I kind of thought Guacamelee 1 was enough. I love Guacamelee 1. It's probably my favorite Metroidvania of the past several years, and it's cool they're making another one. It looks really similar artistically to the first game. I actually platinumed the first game on PS3. Probably one of my most proud platinums. It's a very difficult platinum, and I'm very proud of having that, and I'm looking forward to this. But the megaton announcement for me out of this entire show is Spelunky 2. Holy fuck, like what? This came out of nowhere. Like, if you sat me down and said, hey Seth, like, out of all of the video game announcements that you think are going to happen, like, what is the least likely one? Spelunky 2 would have been one of the ones I would have mentioned. Like, a sequel to Spelunky, I would have never guessed in a million years that we were going to get a sequel to Spelunky. Spelunky is a very special game to my fiance and I. It's my fiance's favorite game of all time. For her birthday a couple of years ago, I actually got in contact with Derek Yu, the creator and designer of Spelunky, and he actually was kind enough to draw her in the style of Spelunky for her birthday. And we got it mounted and professionally framed, and it's like a family heirloom, like we're keeping it forever. Spelunky is just like, it's just a perfect video game. Like, for what it is, Spelunky is just perfect. Like, I don't know how you can improve on it. Like, I really don't. Like, I'm sitting here thinking about it, and they didn't really reveal much in the trailer, including there's no semblance of a date at all. Derek Yu is probably just kind of like, when it's ready, it's ready. The only sort of things we got were like story implications, like the character you're sort of playing as the character of the first game's daughter, it looks like, and it's sort of implied that maybe it's taking place in the air. Like the first game was all about going down underground, the mines, the jungle, and like even hell. And this game, Spelunky 2 seems like it's going to be kind of above ground. So like it's like my fiance and I were joking, instead of hell runs, it's going to be heaven runs. We're just going to kill God.
I was actually about to make that joke my damn self.
Yeah, so it's Spelunky 2 is like crazy exciting news. I mean, it's one of the most well-designed games ever made, in my opinion, and a sequel to that, like, I don't even know what that looks like, but I can't wait to find out. But that was Paris Games Week. I don't think I'm missing anything in terms of major announcements. It was a bigger show than I thought it was going to be, though. I mean, honestly, some of these announcements are like E3 worthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But shit, let's move into our topics now that we're like a good hour into this podcast. What's your topic this week?
Oh, normally we have titles for this shit. It's not really. It doesn't really have a title. It's more of this. It's something I've been thinking about.
I asked you what you wanted me to title this, and you go, title it "These Nuts."
So this has honestly been something I've been thinking about for a while, like a couple weeks now. But honestly, I feel it's more of an observation than anything. But I feel like you have two sorts of developments going on with like franchises. Like you have either they're evolving the game completely, like Breath of the Wild. That's come on, look how that shit plays compared to like any other like the old Zelda games. Then you have other games kind of like playing on nostalgia, like the Mario Odyssey, and now look at World War II. Call of Duty's going back old school. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And I mean, I'm cool with it. Again, I'm completely cool with them playing on nostalgia. That shit sells. It's the reason I bought World War II.
Nostalgia is a very powerful emotion, and I think Nintendo, more so than anybody else, has the capacity to blend the two things that you're talking about really, really well. Mm-hmm. And I think Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild are both really good examples of blending both of those really well, because Mario Odyssey definitely leans hard into nostalgia. Like, it really does. There's no doubt about it. But, like, it's not as big of a reinvention as Breath of the Wild is. I think they're both kind of two different sides of the same coin. Like, Mario Odyssey, I would say, is skewed more on the nostalgia side of the fence, but it still has the reinvention. And then Breath of the Wild is more skewed on the reinvention side of the fence, but it still has nostalgia.
It still has a little... No, it definitely does.
Nintendo and nostalgia go hand in hand. And that's a very powerful emotion, and I think a lot of game developers are trying to tap into that.
Because I'm completely gonna forget about it, but Assassin's Creed kind of just completely evolved their gameplay.
Yeah, I mean that was a necessity for them.
Oh, that was definitely a necessity, and it's worked out for them in my opinion. Because shit,
and
I'm still gonna be playing this game.
Nostalgia is not even something that is it's not exclusive to video games either. I mean, if you look at the movie industry, it's all sequels, it's all remakes, it's all reboots.
Oh, by the way, we have the name for this topic now. It's nostalgia.
All right, fair enough. How about this? We'll call it the nostalgia disease.
There you go. I like it. Title of this episode. No.
This episode is just the fucking disease. But no, I really feel like a lot of factors come into the sort of companies like preying on nostalgia, and I think a lot of that is like this world, the world that we live in today is like this a fucked up nightmare hellscape, and so
yeah, and we look to see like when shit was good, that's honestly the main reason they're doing all these like live action like Disney movies.
Yeah, they want to capitalize on the kids that. The people who grew up in like the 80s and 90s are now adults, and they're the ones that are now, they're buying the movie tickets, and they're, they want to capitalize on that. They want, it feels good to revisit the stuff from your childhood. And, there's a weird like grossness involved in that. There's a weird like, this company's just like giving me what I want, but at the same time, you do want it. You're still going to be the motherfucker who's, you're going to be there to see the third Thor movie in IMAX, and like, you're like, I'm going to be there when a new Mario game comes out, and I think a fine line is drawn in the sand there where like some people are like, taking it a little bit too far in one direction or the other. And I think it like I said, it's not just limited to games. Some like movies are doing it too, and pretty much all media is guilty of that these days. I mean, look at this is why South Park has the member berries. The member berries are literally this, personified.
Dude, the member berries were honestly one of the best parts of that last season.
Because it's so true. Like it's so fucking true. Like the member berries are exactly that. It's just like nostalgia. Like it's just everybody craves for the everybody pines for the better times, and
and I actually kind of respect that was kind of them shitting on the fans basically.
The fans who were like, I miss when South Park was good type shit. Remember when South Park was good.
Shit. Speaking of that, this season's been fucking good.
I still need to catch up. I haven't watched. I think I saw the first like 3 episodes. I haven't watched since.
Bro, you need to watch the episode Hummels and Heroin. That shit's too good.
I'll watch some more tonight when I eat dinner before I go to bed. I'll watch some more. But no, man, like it's an interesting point. Like I don't know how much there is to be gleaned from it. I don't know what we can learn from it. I think that artistry does sort of suffer when we just hang on to the old and we have no interest in making anything new.
Yes, that's the main thing I want. I want any aspect of media to like learn and just evolve and just keep on moving forward.
There's something to be said about how, like, to bring it back into game development, like you look at something like what happened with Visceral Games, right? With what happened with like I was actually just recently reading an article about Dead Space 2, how that game had a $60 million budget, which was incredible. That's an incredible budget for any game. For a AAA game, and $60 million is a lot. And then on top of it, EA spent $60 million marketing it. So that made it a $120 million game budget, which is huge, right? And the game sold like I think 4 or 5 million copies and didn't break even, and that hurt. From a level of the craft and the artistry. You look at Dead Space 3, and what did they do? There was microtransactions. There was it was a straight action game. You know what I mean? So, and then you look at with what just happened with Visceral and Star Wars. They fell prey to that too because they killed that because there was no money to be made off of that. Everybody's going for the safe bet now, and the safe bet, be it nostalgia or whatever, like people aren't willing enough to reinvent anymore, and that's sad. And that's why I appreciate somebody like Sony to sort of bring all of the things we've been talking about this episode into full circle. I appreciate that Sony is banking on new IP so much because, they could have just churned out more of these old IP, but like. They're sitting there at the end of the day, like Uncharted is essentially over now. We've got new IP in the form of like Horizon and now Ghost of Tsushima and stuff like that. They're embracing the new.
Again, I'm definitely looking forward to Ghost of Tsushima. That actually, that was probably one of my more interesting takes from the Paris Games Week.
I'm very interested in all that newness and like Nintendo. Even Nintendo, which has been famously. People have talked shit about Nintendo for years for never coming up with new IP. Well, they got Splatoon, and now Splatoon is like extremely successful. You know what I mean? And like, say what you will about ARMS. I'm not a huge fan of ARMS ultimately. I think ARMS was good, but it sort of like missed the mark in some ways. But say what you will about ARMS, but I will be goddamned if like that game did not come out of the gate with a great gameplay hook, great art style, great characters, and they are supporting it with like free updates all the time. And like, there's something to be said about that. And I think that you need to look at people like Nintendo or Sony as examples of people who are doing these, who are sort of tackling this problem in the correct way. And the safe bet is the bet that most people are willing to make, but it's not always the one that pays off. You know, like
we honestly need just more risk takers, man.
Yeah, it's in this age, like, people who own businesses don't like to take risks. They like the safe bets. But, like, you know, games used to be so weird and fun and, like, risky and stupid. And, like, that's how we got some of our biggest titles. I mean, Zelda was called, when it was first being sort of workshopped, it was literally called Adventure Mario. It was like being workshopped as a Mario adventure game, because Nintendo was just like, fuck it, let's just make this weird, stupid little game about, like, exploring the Japanese wilderness as this character we already have, and then it grew into Zelda, which is what it is now, you know. And without nostalgia is important, but without reinvention, we're not going anywhere, you know. So I don't know.
Throwaway topic turned into a good topic. Woo!
My top, before we get into my topic this week, Todd, let's sort of lighten it up, because I feel like that topic was too serious.
I tend to, a lot of the stuff I like to talk about tends to get a little more serious.
That topic was too fucking real for me, Todd. So for my topic this week, so 3 things are true, Todd. 3 things are true. I'm smarter than you, I'm better looking than you, and I really enjoy Pokemon.
Well, I'm crying a little bit. I'm tearing up a little bit right now to hurt my feelings.
I'm just kidding. No, those things aren't true.
I don't have any feelings. I was just kidding.
So this was spearheaded by a YouTuber that I really like. You know him. His name's Sung1. He's ProZD on YouTube. I'm a big fan of his.
Okay. He
has been doing these video series where, like, every couple weeks or so, he runs down his favorite Pokemon from each generation. And I'm a big Pokemon fan, and I thought it would be interesting. We haven't done a list topic in a while. I enjoy doing lists. I'm a big list fan. I like making lists. I like talking about lists. And I just realized that I don't like saying the word lists. So I sort of thought it'd be fun to give our top 10 favorite Pokemon across all generations. Now, I don't know what rules you sort of had with your list, but
I kind of like utilized, for the most part, your sort of rules.
My rules were that I wanted I basically wanted, I knew number 1, I've always had, and I might have said it on this podcast before, but my number 1 is set in stone. I've always had a favorite Pokemon from day 1 playing Pokemon. I've literally been playing Pokemon from day 1. And I've always had a favorite. That's going to be my number 1. From there, I wanted to make sure I had an Eevee evolution, and I wanted to make sure I didn't just stick with Gen 1. I wanted to make sure I got a little bit from all the generations.
I'm pretty sure that both of us could have honestly did a top 10 of just Gen 1.
Oh,
if we wanted
to. Easily. I could have done a top 10 for every generation, honestly.
Honestly, I'm a little disappointed. I think I'm gonna have to. One of these on my list are not gonna make it in, and another one's gonna make it in.
Okay. Was it gonna be Skate 4?
Actually, no, bitch. It was gonna be Snorlax. But go fuck yourself.
I was trying to call that shit early and see.
I mean, I respect that you tried to call it, because it has been a couple episodes.
Anyway, so I think the way we're gonna
go fuck yourself.
I think the way we're gonna do this is, we're gonna do, so my number 1 and Todd's, your number 1 I think is set 2, right? So yeah. Let's leave our.
They're in the wrong order, but I'm gonna say it right.
Yeah. So let's leave our number 1s sort of as a mystery. We'll give our number 1s last. The only order that mine is in, except for my number 1, is alphabetical order. So I'm just going to kind of go down. We're just going to kind of go down our lists one at a time and talk about our top 10 favorite Pokemon across all generations. And then at the end of it, we'll both give our number 1s. So why don't you start us off?
My sweet baby boy, Haunter.
God, Haunter's such a good Pokemon.
Yeah, dude, I love. I ever since like when I used to watch like the show.
Yeah.
Back in like the first episode with Haunter, I mean that shit was legit.
Haunter's in the intro.
Haunter's always.
I think doesn't he lick something in the intro or something like that?
No, that's his whole deal.
Yeah, he loves.
I mean, I've always been down for Haunter. Haunter's the shit.
Yeah, There's a lot of Pokemon that are like fascinated with licking. There's Lickitung, you know. But Haunter's a good. I love that entire. As I'll talk about later, I love that entire evolutionary line. I love the.
Well, I think we talked about this when we were making the list. Is like every last one of them could be on here.
Yeah, seriously, I love Ghost Pokemon. It's always been my thing.
Yeah.
Ghost Pokemon have always really resonated with me, and that's across all the generations. I don't think there has been a generation that just has like garbage Ghost Pokemon. Like even the shitty ones. Like I think there's a Ghost Pokemon line that's like some fucking vanilla ice cream, and I still liked it. Like
Yeah.
like just some stupid shit. And I struggled to have. I think I only have 2 Ghost Pokemon on my list, and that was a fucking struggle, dude. Because it could have easily been more. Mine that I'll start off with is actually. So this is a little bit of a cheat. So it's technically a Gen 1 Pokemon, but it's also technically a new Gen Pokemon. It's Alolan Vulpix. I
can't blame you for putting that on there.
I was smitten with Alolan Vulpix from the second I saw it. And you know this. I think it was revealed in like a Nintendo Direct. And I was just like, it's so fucking beautiful. Like Alolan Vulpix is just a beautiful Pokemon, and like I'm a big fan of, and I noticed this as I was making this list. I'm a big fan of like cute or otherwise beautiful Pokemon, and like or just like menacing or fun Pokemon. Like I'm a big fan of that stuff, and I'm a big fan of like certain design things, and I just love Alolan Vulpix is so simple. It's just literally it is. Vulpix, which is normally sort of a fire fox sort of Pokemon, is now an ice version. And it's just this beautiful white and pale blue. It's just, you should look it up. The Alolan Vulpix is just a really beautiful design. Like, I just love it. And I love the way Ninetales looks in its Alolan form. It's great. I really like a lot of the Alolan designs. A lot of them are a lot of fun. And that was actually a really smart idea on the Pokemon Company to take some of these Gen 1 Pokemon and give them Alolan designs for Sun and Moon. What's next for you?
My Eevee pick, which is going to be Umbreon. Just on a pure design aspect, I think Umbreon is my favorite. I think, Umbreon has just got that really good look, and honestly, I kind of like the dark Pokemons overall.
Yeah.
For the most part. So
I could see that. I like Umbreon. I don't think that I think with the exception of maybe Sylveon, I don't think I downright dislike any of the Eevee evolutions. I think they're all pretty solid.
Which one's Sylveon is the one I was joking about.
Yeah,
right?
Sylveon's that fairy type one. Yeah, where it's like it takes a lot of work and like you have to raise like the friendship level really high or whatever, and it's like you love
again one of the funniest comics I've ever seen because of that shit.
Yeah, it's like wasn't it something like oh you made me you love me so much and now you hate me type shit.
It's like the fuck are you useless piece of shit? I'm like it's it only turned into Sylveon because you loved it so much.
So. This is a Gen 1 Pokemon for me. My next one is Bulbasaur. I love Bulbasaur. He is always and forever. I know people love Squirtle and Charmander. They're great. I love them too. But Bulbasaur will always be my first pick for Gen 1. Like, it was my very first Pokemon. I fell in love with it instantly. And it's always been Bulbasaur. Now, I don't actually like the way that Venusaur looks. Like, Venusaur to me just looks like this old, gross, like, fat, just kind of like, Venusaur, kind of shit. But
it's
like,
your spirit animal.
It just, I guess so, in that way. But Venusaur just doesn't really do much for me, but, like, I really like Bulbasaur and even Ivysaur. In the same way that, like, you know who doesn't do anything for me? Wartortle and Charmeleon don't do anything for me.
That is some real shit right there.
They do nothing for me. Like Charmeleon just looks fucking boring and weird, and Wartortle has those like fucked up like little wings or whatever on his head. I don't even know what that is. And isn't that true? Doesn't he have like some weird shit on his head?
Yeah, he does. He has like some shit on his head.
I don't like that. I don't like any of that. And but I love Blastoise and I love Charizard. The opposite is true with Bulbasaur. So, like, I really like his middle evolution. I like Ivysaur, but then Venusaur looks all fucked up and weird. So, anyway, Long story short, Bulbasaur, I really like him. What's next for you?
Speaking of it, Charizard.
Charizard's a great
Yeah,
Pokemon.
Charizard is, it's my. If anything, I'll say this: like fire types have always been my thing.
Right.
Like I've always kind of gone for the fire types and shit. Come on,
Nothing wrong with
Charizard's
that.
basically a fucking dragon. He's always been legit.
Yeah, Charizard's great, and you got to shout out the fact that that was definitely a thing, because I don't know if you ever got in. Did you ever get into Pokemon cards?
I had a couple. Yeah.
So I was really I could not be the more perfect age for I literally grew up with Pokemon like
See, I think we've talked about this. Is like there's just a couple age differences. You were more into Pokemon. I was more into Digimon.
right. So like for me,
Yeah.
like I literally was in the height. I was at the perfect age when Pokemon. I was like that 9 or 10 kind of age when Pokemon launched in the States. I was at the height of Pokemon popularity. I had binders full of Pokemon cards.
Oh my god, did I ever tell you about this?
What?
This is off tangent, but when I was in high school, bro, Yu-Gi-Oh was still kind of a really popular thing.
Really?
I think it still is. Bro, there was this fat fucking white guy. This fat, like, just think about the most cliche ass nerd. He came up to this table with a fucking binder just to conduct business, to trade Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Oh yeah, dude. That was some real
Dude,
shit.
it was I was sitting there just like, I used to talk to a couple of the guys that used to, I won't even lie, I used to actually enjoy watching these jackasses play their little Yu-Gi-Oh
You just
games.
activated my trap card.
Dude, honestly, I had fun actually watching them play it. It was actually amusing to me. But this motherfucker had me dying because I could not believe it. Dude, he had like multiple binders, like full of this shit. And I'm like, oh my god.
This one is just filled with all my Dark Magician variants.
This is Blue Eyes White Dragon. I don't know. Those are the only two Yu-Gi-Oh cards I know. I have two stories to spearhead off of this before we get back into our list. Two things. A, you mentioned Digimon. My friend Cody was so huge into Digimon. Like, Digimon was a little... By the time Digimon came out, I was still very much on the Pokemon train, you know?
Yeah.
I liked Digimon, but I never got Digimon cards or anything like that. There are things that I like about the Digimon lore, such as it is better than Pokemon. I like the idea of the Digidestined, and that you have a friend that is like destined and linked with you and stuff like that. Like, I like that idea,
Yeah.
and I like that they could straight up talk. You know, for Cody though, he was my friend Cody, who was one of my best friends growing up. Like, he was really into Digimon. And I just remember he ate. I think Taco Bell was giving out Digimon cards in their like kids meals. He ate Taco Bell like 4 or 5 times a week for like 2 months because he just wanted to get all of the Digimon cards that they had on offer. I swear,
That's terrible.
every time I would go over there, to like stay the night or something, and like his mom would be like, "What do you guys want to eat?" And he's like, "Taco Bell." Trying to get Digimon cards. And he's like, "Can I have yours?" I was like, "Yeah, dude. Yeah, here." The other story that I have, so probably 4 or 5, no, probably like longer than that, like 5 or 6 years ago, because Pokemon cards are still very much a thing. Like, there's still a culture for that. I've briefly considered getting back into Pokemon cards, and because I was just curious. I was just like, you know what? Like, I want to see what the culture is like now. I want to see what the kind of vibe of Pokemon players are now. I want to see how this whole thing is. There was this local bookstore, which is now closed, that had Pokemon League tournaments and stuff like that. They held like daily Pokemon, Pokemon.
I feel
card
like I
games.
know this story.
You might. It's a very simple story. They had daily or weekly Pokemon card games, and they held tournaments and stuff like that. I went in there just thinking about buying a pack and just sort of like seeing if I could, get into like a little pickup game or something like that. And I go in there and I just sort of looked around, and I was like thinking about buying a pack or whatever, a booster pack, and I see this guy just sitting like Indian style on the floor with his like binders in front of him and stuff, just with just a straight up loaf of French bread, just eating it. Like, he's just sitting there in like these shorts that were like a little too short. I'm not trying to make fun of, there's no shame in his game, But he's just sitting there just with just a loaf of French bread, just eating it. Just like, just eating the whole loaf. Like you just pick it up and just bite it. And I was like, you know what? I'm good. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm good on this. I don't think I need to get into Pokemon. I'm like, at the time, I'm like in my 20s. I'm good.
I don't want to associate with this shit.
It's not even that. It just made me. It was just such a rude awakening of like, yeah, I'm too old for this shit. You know? But I was definitely big into that shit. Anyway, that was way off topic, but you know, good stories nonetheless. Let's dive back into the list. So, next on my list is Dartrix, which is the second evolution of Rowlet. It's Rowlet, Dartrix, and then Decidueye. And I like Decidueye. He's a cool evolution, but Dartrix just has that sexy boy hair. And I love it. He's got that sort of like coy smile, and he's really cool.
He's got a fucking bow tie.
Yeah, he's awesome, dude. Like I love Dartrix. What's next for you?
Probably the most adorable Pokemon on my list is Spoink.
This is an interesting choice.
I was like, you know what? I want a cutesy Pokemon on my list. I'm like, oh, here it is. I think this is honestly one of the cutest Pokemon ever.
He's pretty cute.
Because he's an adorable little bastard. And he's also really fucking sad if you think about it. He can never stop hopping. Yeah,
he's basically like a little pig, but like his tail is like 90% of his body. And
yeah, he's like a pogo stick.
Yeah, he's like a pogo stick almost. Like he has to bounce on his little stupid tail the whole time.
Well, here's the deal. At the moment he stops bouncing, his heart stops beating.
That is sad. Does he evolve into anything?
He does, actually, and I'm not a big fan of it.
Really? I'm not even familiar with his evolution. But, yeah, he's a cute boy. I can appreciate a good cute Pokemon. I was surprised, though. When you said Spoink, I was like, damn, all right.
Don't hate on Spoink.
I'm not hating on Spoink. So this is, I think Spoink was an X and Y, wasn't he?
I think so,
I think that's the generation Spoink was from.
Sounds about right.
This one is also from that generation. It's Fennekin, which is the fire starter, who is quite literally just based on a Fennec fox. But she's goddamn adorable. Like, I just love Fennekin's design. Like, she's just a very pretty, cute sort of Pokemon, and I really like her entire evolutionary chain. She's really interesting because she did there's fire psychic and then fire like fairy, which is a very interesting combination.
Well, that's the one thing I was going to say is I respect that is that they were trying to stay away from the firefighting.
Yeah, because it's been firefighting all this time, you know, so it was interesting that they actually she's the outlier in the history of fire Pokemon starters. So I really like her for that reason. What's next for you?
Probably it's honestly a pretty cliche design, but it's honestly probably one of my most favorite ghost type designs is Duskull.
Yeah, I like Duskull a lot.
And only Duskull because I'm not a big fan of his final evolution. Was it Dusclops?
Yeah, I agree with that. Doesn't Duskull have like a knife behind his back or something like that?
I think he does actually. I think he has something behind his back.
He looks cute or whatever, but there is like an air of sinister. There's like a sinister air to him.
Oh, he definitely is. He looks like some like ghostly Grim Reaper.
Yeah, he has like a knife or a scythe or something like that behind his back.
Yeah.
Next for me is my choice for Eevee evolution. I know a lot of people hate on this for some reason. I really like the design of Leafeon. I've always been...
See, I actually almost put Leafeon on my list, but I wanted to differentiate from you.
I just really like Leafeon. Like, I don't know why people hate on Leafeon. Like, people always try to go for, like, Vulpix or whatever. I'm like, or even, like, I think a lot of people like the Gen 1 sort of like Vulpix, Jolteon, not Vulpix. Why am I saying Vulpix? Jolteon, Flareon, and God, what's Vaporeon? The V.
That's right.
The V fucking got me. Vaporeon. A bunch of people love Vaporeon. It's never been my thing. I like all the fucking like gills and shit on Vaporeon. I don't like it. It's weird. I've always been a Leafeon fan. I'm a big grass type fan. I think grass and ghost are my two favorite sort of like Pokemon types. And the only thing that I don't really like about Leafeon is how she has like these weird like blades of grass hanging off of her. But I really like the way her tail looks, and I like the design of like her head and her ears and stuff like that, and just her whole color palette. Just a really good, cute but still badass sort of design. And I don't know, it's always resonated with me as a fan of grass type Pokemon. It's always been my favorite Eevee evolution. What's next for you?
I'm gonna call myself a basic bitch before you can. So, my sweet baby boy Greninja.
Yeah.
Now, come on, he's got. I love his design. He's using his tongue as like a scarf. I thought that shit's hilarious.
Yeah, that shit bothers me though.
Does it bother you?
That shit's gross.
I enjoy it.
That's gross. Using your tongue as a scarf, that's fucking gross.
He just wants to lick his neck. I don't fucking know.
Here's the thing that's interesting about Greninja is extremely popular. In fact, the reason Greninja was put in Smash is because he actually, in terms of popularity, beat out Pikachu in a consensus in Japan. In Japan, Greninja is more popular than Pikachu.
Nice. I did not actually know that.
Like, they fucking love Greninja.
Now, Greninja overall has like a really cool design.
Yeah, he's cool. I mean, he's badass. I actually really like playing as him in Smash.
Shit, same.
He's a lot of fun. He's the closest I'm ever gonna get to a Shovel Knight character. So.
Oh, because he's got the fucking
Yeah, he's got the pogo moves. Next up for me is the only other ghost Pokemon that I included on this list, just for posterity reasons, is Litwick. I really like Litwick's entire evolutionary chain, but I really like just his basic starting. He's just a cute little candle boy. He's Ghostfire, and he's just there's not much to him. He's just a cute little candle, and he's got purple little flame. Very, very simple, endearing design. I really like him. I don't really have much more to say than that.
There you go.
What's next for you?
Their other attempt of staying away from firefighting, but totally looks like it's supposed to be firefighting, is Incineroar.
Incineroar is a good one. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna tell you why I like Incineroar. Because like, what the evolution cycle makes no fucking sense to me.
Does it start off with Emboar, right?
No, it's Litten.
Oh, that's what this
Litten,
one is.
which is just this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Incineroar is the cat. It's from,
I'm thinking
Son
of
Moon.
like Emboar or whatever.
You're thinking about Tepig.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, so Incineroar, his shit makes no sense to me. How he went from this fucking cute little ass like cat,
little cute cat, to another basically cat, and now he's just this big ass.
and then all of a sudden he's like a fucking wrestler. I'm like, what?
Yeah, big ass.
The fuck just happened?
Yeah.
But I love it. His design is amusing to me. Because the actual, like, he doesn't breathe, like, his fire attacks don't actually come out of his mouth.
Where do they come out of?
His belt.
Oh, God. That's weird. I see this entire time I was thinking of Emboar or whatever. I actually really like Emboar's design, too.
Oh, Emboar was almost on my list.
My next one, surprise, surprise, is another grass type. Shaman. Shaman is from my least favorite generation of Pokemon. Like, it's from that Diamond and Pearl sort of generation. But I love Shaman's design.
I was really not too big on Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah, it's by far my least favorite. But I love Shaman's design. Shaman's kind of like this little grass hedgehog sort of thing in its land form. It has two forms. This is the interesting thing about Shaman, is it has two different forms. It has land form and sky form. So, like, in its land form, it's just grass, and then in its sky form, it's grass and flying. Which is a really nice kind of like change up. So, land form, it's just, like I said, it's sort of this little maybe cute dog or like hedgehog or something with like this cute flower that's kind of coming out of the side of it. And then in sky form, it kind of turns into this badass, like kind of mischievous, like dog looking thing. And now all of a sudden it's flying type as well. So it's cool from a practical standpoint. And it's also cool. It's also just cool design, and I've always liked Shaman. What's next for you?
Toucan. Why I like his design? He's a fucking toucan. Shit's delicious.
See, now here's the deal. He's just literally a toucan.
and it's the best shit about it.
Now-
It's hilarious to me. Like it's like they didn't even give a shit.
They didn't. And the one redeeming
Beak
quality,
blast, though.
the one redeeming
Beak
quality
blast.
I have here about him being on your top 10 of all time is if you pull up a picture of Toucannon, which I have right here, if you look at his fucking eyes, he has the most sour expression. Like, he looks like he has just had it with your shit.
Dude, that's the best shit about him, dude. He has this like a one move called Beak Blast, dude. It fucks shit up, dude.
He just looks like he is not into you or anything you're about. Like, he just...
That's the main dude. That right there is the main reason I like him, because he just looks pissed off all the time.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. So my next one is Slowpoke. What more can I say about Slowpoke? It needed to and deserved to be on this list. I just love Slowpoke.
Yeah, Slowpoke is love.
It's just such a great design, and like I love everything about Slowpoke. It's so weird to me. Like, it actually disturbed me when I was a kid how like they were like eating Slowpoke tails and shit like that. It's like a delicacy and shit. I'm like, oh no, what are you doing? And I like his evolutions. I like how he has to like, you have to get his stupid like dumb ass to like dip his tail into the water and like get bit by a cloister in order for him to evolve and shit like that. I love Slowpoke. Anyway, what's next for you?
The main man himself, our president.
President Donald Trump. My favorite Pokemon.
Also known as Gumshoes.
Yeah, I think, didn't you literally just put this on your list to make that joke?
Yes. Didn't give a shit.
You don't
Like,
actually
I don't
care
give a
about
shit about him as a
Gumshoes.
Pokemon. It's just it's just funny as shit to me.
Oh, fair enough. They had to have known what they were doing with that.
Oh, of course. Come on.
It just looks, I mean, it's uncanny. Like, if you were given the job to make Donald Trump into a Pokemon, that is what you would come up with.
And he even stands like a jackass. It's great. It's great.
Yeah. The last one on mine before we both reveal our number one is Torterra. Surprise, surprise, another grass type. Torterra is the final evolution of fucking, what was his name? Turtwig. And he is just a big ass, enormous turtle. He's, I think, grass ground. Either grass ground or grass steel.
No, I think he's grass ground.
Yeah, and he's just this big ass turtle with like a tree on his back, and I just love his design. I have a big, I love turtles. Like, I've always loved turtles, and just the way that he looks, you just don't want to fuck with him. He's like huge and bulky, and I just love him. He's just badass. Looks like he would be right at home in like a kaiju movie. Let's reveal our number ones. Todd, what is your favorite Pokemon of all time?
Blaziken.
Okay, explain
That is
yourself.
all. It's been. So, I think it was that's Gen 3, right?
Yes, that sounds right.
So Gen 3 was kind of like one of the like when I actually really sat there and played the Pokemon games, and Torchic was my starter, and I fell in love with all. The middle evolution's a little weak for that, but I
Which
don't
one
even know
is
the
it?
name of
Do
it.
you remember the name?
I don't remember. It looks like some halfway between. It actually is a good evolution if you think about it, but because it looks like completely in the between Torchic and Blaziken.
Combuskin.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it
That's
does
it.
look kind of weird. It looks like it's sort of like if Torchic was anamorphing into Blaziken. That's like the middle anamorph frame.
Yeah, it's really weird. I don't like it. But Blaziken has been my favorite Pokemon for a long time, just because that shit carried me through that game.
That's probably the game that you have the most nostalgia with, huh? Is like Ruby and Sapphire.
Oh yeah, I have a lot of good stories about that shit, where I one shot Groudon on accident.
Oh right, yeah. You like, and didn't you just roll with it? Like, you didn't save or anything beforehand.
Nope.
See, that's where you fucked up. You always save beforehand.
I know.
And
it hurt me.
Yeah.
It hurt me when I killed his ass.
So you just never. Had
I used
Groudon.
cut. I used the move cut, and it fucked him up.
My number one, and this has been my favorite Pokemon from day one. It is and forever will be Gengar. It's a lot of people's favorite Pokemon. It's not, I'm not unique or anything. I have always loved Gengar's design. It's so simple, but there's something about those eyes, man. The red eyes on the purple body with the spikes and stuff like that, and like that huge smile, that huge mischievous smile. It is like, that design is so iconic that if you simply had those red eyes and that smile, I don't care if you just see that on a wall somewhere. It doesn't even have to be on Gengar's body. That is Gengar's face. You know what I mean? Like, there's something brilliant about that design. The body is so blank and ancillary that, like, the face, the very, very simply designed face is the focus. So that made it iconic. And it also is helped by the fact that Gengar is one of the first Pokemon that you see ever. The game opens, the intro cutscene, when you turn on Pokemon Red and Blue, it's and it's Gengar and I think Nidoran fighting. And that is one of the two world's first introduction to Pokemon was Gengar. And that is as OG as it gets. And I will always love Gengar. I have a Gengar plushie proudly displayed on my bookshelf. It is, I love Gengar, man. I will always love Gengar. Do you have anything else you want to say about Pokemon before we wrap up this overlong episode?
Shout out to Snorlax.
Yeah, you got to shout out there. I'm telling you, dude, I could have gone on and on and on and on. Like, Snorlax would have been on this list, but I had to cut him at some point because, I didn't want to have too many Gen 1 Pokemon on here.
Again, the Gen 1s, we could have easily made a top 10 Gen 1, because shit, I like Gyarados.
Yeah, I love Magikarp was almost on this list. Yeah, for sure. And then, like, Shuckle. I love Shuckle. You don't fuckle with Shuckle. There are so many other Pokemon that I could have shouted out, but I wanted to do a list topic. I wanted to get a top 10 boiled down. Yeah. But what was always clear is that Gengar was going to be at the top of it. So may it ever be. Anyway, you've been listening to Nerd Bourbon. If you had a good time listening to us talk about video games and talking about Pokemon and dumb shit like that, go ahead and throw us a follow or a sub on whatever service you're listening to us on. And if there's a service that we aren't currently on that you want us on, let us know so we can make that happen. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdbourbon, and we are at nerdbourbon on Twitter. And beyond that, the best and only way for us to grow is for you to tell your friends. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you next week. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
See ya.